Welcome our video friends. I hope everybody's having a good day. And we are today at a place called 12 Mile Creek. We've been here a time or two before, mainly because it's raining today. It's not a lot of rain falling right now. It may be more in any minute, as you know. But there's a beautiful covered picnic table area here, two of them. Lots of parking, viewing platforms, and it's a nice place to be. And Sunday morning early, and the creek is, I don't know why they call it a creek. It looks more like a river to me, but they call it a creek. And you can hear a few rapids in it. You can hear the hot water rushing over the rapids. But a lot of people like to come here. They like to come here and walk their dogs, go down to the river, view the scenic river there. So it's a very, very nice place, and they keep it clean here. I'm sure that's a job for somebody to do, but it is well kept here, and so it's a nice place. And I appreciate all those places in America like that we have. We're blessed. We're blessed to have places where we can enjoy the outdoors, enjoy scenic views, and something besides concrete jungles. I mean, they're pretty buildings too, and I know you know that. But anyhow, today we're going to get on into our study in the latter part of Genesis chapter 10. Right here is a commentary on the life of Noah that we wished we didn't have to read, but it happened, and it's here in the Bible. So we're going to read this. Now remember, Noah was a man that walked with God. I mean, a great man. And now right here we're going to find something he did that got he and one of his sons in a lot of trouble. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. Well, right here we're seeing something that's some shame on Noah. He got drunk, and then he had his clothes off, uncovered within his tent. So we find right here that this wine, I believe this is the first time in the Bible we find about a man being drunken. And we read in the New Testament that the generation before the flood were eating and drinking. But right here is the first time we find where a man is drunken with wine. And of all people, it was Noah, the great ark builder and preserver of life, who found grace in the eyes of God. But right here we find a negative commentary on Noah. And here he was, drunk and without his clothes on. What a shame. What a shame that is. And I'm going to spend most of this message about this alcohol business. And in our country, America, is a bunch. We're so drunk. America is just so drunk. Everywhere you look and turn, there is alcohol being sold and promoted and just crammed at you everywhere you turn. Almost any event you might attend nowadays, it's got alcohol all through the thing, and encouraging that. And so America's just been stooped with all these beer and liquor and whiskey, wine companies that came into our country, set up here, and almost every town I go to now, they got a distillery in it. Somebody's making beer, making liquor or something everywhere I turn. And I don't touch it. I've been a teetotaler now for 45 years and haven't touched alcohol at all. And you can get along just fine without alcohol. You don't need it for any reason. You find it'll bring to you trouble and heartache and disappointment, as it brought to Noah. And alcohol will not bring you anything good. And don't be deceived thereby. Remember what the Bible has to say about wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. He that is deceived thereby is not wise. And so remember that. Right here we see Noah drunk and naked in his tent. But he was drunk and naked. Now I guarantee you, every one of you have seen somebody drunk on alcohol acting abnormal or acting out of the way. And that's what happens. They get to drinking. Here it goes. Trouble's coming. Men beating up on their wives while they're drunk. Men actually raping their daughters while they're drunken. Men shooting it up and fighting with one the other because they're drunk on wine. Men saying things they shouldn't be saying to people whom they shouldn't be saying them to. because they are drunken, and it just don't end. And I guarantee you, I've heard this many times in my life, that the majority of crimes committed, alcohol is involved in one stage or another of it. It's just a terrible situation. And the amount of money that I've seen people spend on alcohol is unbelievable. And I'm sure you know this. Some of you may be spending on it too. Shame on you. You could put your money to a much better use than giving it to these alcohol and these people that produce that stuff. Matter of fact, it was a week before last, I got a call from my stockbroker. He said, "Dave, we got to buy on 2 stocks here." He said, I think that you can make money of either one. And one of them was General Mills. He said it's a good company, and said it's going to do well, we believe, in the next quarter. And said here's the projected profits on it. And then he went on to give me the second one. He said the second one is Coors. So they're expecting a real huge increase now that the COVID is about over, when all the people are back at the ball games tailgating and drinking it up. And he said we expect 28% on that. I said, give me General Mills. And he was a little quiet for a moment, thinking I'd want the one that paid the most money. But no, I don't want one that's got a curse on it. The Bible says, woe unto the man that put up a bottle to his neighbor's lips. They may look upon his drunkenness. And I tell you, you people pushing this liquor and beer and wine, all that stuff, there's a curse that goes with that. There'll be a curse on you, and there'll have to be a curse on your family from that. You can laugh about that all you want to laugh about. And you can tell me all the examples you've got, how good life is, and how bad things happen to everybody. But I've read the Bible, and I know what it says about it. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging. He that is deceived thereby is not wise. And I could spend a lot of time going through the Bible and bringing out the scriptures and the stories that go with them about those who are stooped with drink and have committed bad deeds and sinful deeds while they were drunken. And you know that's so as well as I know it's so. And so why fool with this stuff? Why fool with it? I've at one time or two have been where they were selling and drinking alcohol, not on purpose. Went to the thing for another reason, found out, hey, they're serving alcohol here. And I had a guy come up to me one time, acquaintance, he didn't really know me, or he wouldn't have done it. He'd come running up to me with a big old glass of beer and stuck it out to me. And I just stood there and I did not reach to get it. I just looked at him, looked at that, and said, no, I am a teetotaler. I don't touch alcohol. And he didn't know what to say for a minute too. It was an awkward moment for him and me. And he said, oh, okay. He said, I understand. And so he went away with his beer he was trying to hand me. Wasn't interested in it, didn't want it. Had nothing to do with it. And so you'd do well to stay away from the stuff. It'll bring you no good at all. And I've had a family member. I had an uncle, a great uncle, who spent his life drinking, so much so that he lost his family. He lived in Baltimore, Maryland, and drunk so much and been so mean to his family that his family would not have anything to do with him. And when he retired from his job, actually I don't think he had any place to go to. No family members would take him in. And my grandfather, his brother, actually took him in and allowed him to come to his house. He lived there about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years to most. And he died relatively a young man. But alcohol had left him down and out, no place to go. And that's what had done it. And then we used to go down the street of Greenville, South Carolina, and give out gospel tracts on Saturday afternoon and witness to people. And we'd preach, bring a little message to whoever would listen. And I remember one Saturday afternoon, we was up at Coffee Street. There was a cafe down that street, just a little ways off Main. And a lot of the hobos and the homeless and bums, whatever you want to call them, would come there a lot of times and try to get some coffee down there at the Coffee Street Cafe. And they'd usually stop and talk to us, mainly because they were wanting money. And I remember one guy in particular there, I felt for the man. I really felt for him. And he told me, he used to be an engineer, had a good paying job, and had a nice home. Said he had a wife and children and people around him. And but he said he got to drinking, and drinking got him, and drinking got a hold of him. And said eventually it took everything that he had. He said he lost his job. Said then he lost his home, he lost his family, lost his house, lost his car, lost his driver's license, and said he couldn't get a job anywhere. Said he'd been living on the streets now for a number of years, and it was a shame to hear his testimony. It was sad, a sad situation to hear that. And I shared the gospel of Christ with him, and he stood and he thought about it. And I said, think about it some more. I said, accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. I said, you can't change the past, but you can allow the Lord to make a change in your future. And he didn't make a profession of faith there at that time, but I was able to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with him. But my point is in this message here that that wine is a mockery, as it has made a mockery of Noah, as we see right here. Noah has made a fool of himself with his wine. There he is in his tent naked. Now we're going to see what follows right here in the next few verses. And it's got his son in trouble too. And let me say something else about Noah before we leave this thought in this passage right here, and his nakedness within his tent. It's a shameful condition to be in. And if I was you, I'd make a point, and you men who have children in your house, your own children, keep yourself clothed before them. And don't be drinking, period. Just stay away from the bottle. You'll have a lot more money to pay the bills. And you'll find that you'll never be as embarrassed in life if you do not use alcohol. It will bring a shame to you. It's a mocker. It will laugh at you and make a fool out of you and make a nut out of you. Is what it will do, just like it did Noah right here. And naked in his tent, and actually even before his sons. And this is some real good advice to you fathers. And I've raised 6 children. We had 7. 6 lived. And I've raised 6 children, and may I say, I think my children are doing very well, thank you. And as far as I know, none of my children have ever touched the stuff. And I would be hurt if any of my children were using alcohol. I'd be very disappointed in them if they were. But they never saw their daddy touch it. Never did. Never saw their daddy touch tobacco either, by the way. And that's the example I wanted before my family. And they never saw me run around the house naked either. No, sir. I kept myself clothed within my home and before my children. I made a point to do that, and so I wanted to live respectfully before my children. And naturally, we've all come short at one point or the other. But there are some things that there's just no excuse of a man doing. You don't need to be drunk, and you don't need to be naked in your home before your very own children. What a shame that would be. It'd be a shameful thing. I know there's people laugh about that. That is people who are depraved. That is heathen-minded people who laugh about nakedness within their home. That's people who obviously have no morals. People who have no scruples about probably anything to run around their home naked. Now there's a place for you to be unclothed, the bedroom and your bathroom. But other than that, I would advise you, especially fathers of children in your home, to stay away from liquor, to keep yourself clothed before your children, and learn from Noah's example right here. Be troubles to follow. Be troubles to follow. And so I would keep those things at bay. That's just some good advice. I think I'm qualified to give a little bit of advice about that, and about my children, and about raising children. Sometimes people fell before their children, because they themselves do not live right before their children.